Thank you for coming and speaking with me today.
My pleasure. Totally
My
my
na-
pleasure.
my name is Jeree, with Spoiler TV. It rhymes. So,
Totally. There you go. Yeah. I
yeah.
almost thought that there was like a little thing there. I'm like,
Yeah.
when I read it, and it's like it was perfect.
Yeah. So before we start though, I have to admit I'm kind of geeking out because I recognize you from One Life to Live, and I'm like a big
Yes.
soap opera fan.
Yes. Oh, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. That
I,
was just that there's such a special place in my heart because that's really the first, that was my launch,
yeah.
my first real, I guess, break, you could say.
Mhm.
And my 3 years in New York, and it was so much fun. I made great friends. I got married while I was there. New York was awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
that was really cool. And the soap opera world, unfortunately, is like a dying breed because
Mhm.
it's such an incredible experience, man. It's like boot camp for actors. It's the perfect training ground for like the next level.
Yeah. I was gonna
Anyway,
say,
thank
would you
you.
come back and do a soap? Even though I mean they are dying. There's still some on though. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, and stuff.
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends that have jumped back on General Hospital for a
Mhm.
moment or two. Apparently, they had reached out to my people recently.
Mhm.
I don't know, just maybe having a conversation. So, but certainly nothing, no, I
I
mean, nothing, no, there's
was like, "Can
nothing,
I get a
really is no scoop. So,
scoop?"
yeah. But I just have a lot of love for those
Mhm.
people.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna talk about 911 a little bit. So my first question, can you talk about how it came about? How did you like? Do you watch 911 or anything like that?
Well, the truth is, I don't watch 911, but I'm a huge fan of Peter. I have been since Dirty Sexy Money is like one of my favorite all
Mhm.
time. So I didn't necessarily, frankly, I don't watch much network television at all. Like we cut the cable a while ago, and it's
Mhm.
uh, so. But it not, but with that being said, everyone I talk to is like, "Oh my God, I love that show,"
Yeah.
and or is, "Have you heard they're getting crazy numbers?" Like so, regardless of whether I tune in, clearly most people are, or a lot of people are, and love the show very much. So as soon as I, told people I was a part of it, they were very, very excited. And as far as how it came about, it was very quick. Like we basically got a phone call um, that it was almost like a day turnaround. Like they
Mhm.
called and said, you're going to be doing this thing. It was kind of secretive at first, but they wanted to know that somehow that it was me to my resemblance to Peter, right? They
Yeah.
would it was there was a focus on my resemblance to Peter and whether I had like facial hair and things like that, right? And so and then I get word like it was all like confusing in the beginning, and then it was like, well, we're gonna put a mustache on you, and it's gonna be in the '80s, and I'm going, wait a minute, what? Like first I heard I was going to be like, one version of something. And then long story short, in the end, to find out that I'm going back to 1980 to play his father, to be a firefighter, to, have the impediment of being an alcoholic, to have the mustache, when it all unfolded within like 24 hours of them calling and booking the job, it was awesome. And then I went right to work. Frankly, I want to say it was when I went to my fitting, I got a lot of the actual info of what I was doing. So until I showed up to Fox to get, because that's who produces it,
Yeah.
for my fitting, I had no idea what I was doing. And they filled me in. So, but I couldn't have been more excited because it was such a juicy role.
Yeah. How wild is that though? Like you watch him and then you're playing his dad. How is
But
it working with him?
it was funny because the first time I met him and I actually ran into each other in the parking lot the first day we were working together. And he said, you join quite an elite crowd, and he listed all the people in his career who have played his father. But
Yeah.
he's like, you're the first that, they're all these like great, like Donald Sutherland and these
Mhm.
amazing other actors. And he's like, well, but I gotta say, this is the first time, my father's younger than me. But man, what an amazing dude and generous actor, and someone to look up to and a role model as an actor in this town. I mean, watching him on set and what a pro he is and how he interacts with everyone and treats everyone with love and respect. He's everything you want him to be. I think
Yeah.
it's why he's so relatable. in any show that he's doing. He's so grounded, and he's grounded off camera as well. And so it was just cool. It was really cool to work with him. Really cool to, get that honor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you watch any like to prepare any specific episodes? Did they tell you to watch or anything like that? I mean, you didn't have any firefighter scenes, but I mean, you could have talked to firefighters or something, you know.
Yeah, what was interesting about it, and that the crew also commented on when we shot it, is it was almost like the us as actors and the crew got to go away to camp and shoot like a little independent movie,
Hmm.
because it was so separate from the show. Like, it didn't have the same actors, the same
Yeah,
location, same. So for the crew, they were shooting like I mean, it looked different. We were in a 1980. Who are these people? And I remember in hair and makeup, they were like, it's kind of like we're away at camp. Like, it's like a little vacation, even though we're working, because everything's new. It just feels different for this week. Like we're shooting
yeah.
some independent movie. Um, so that was cool. It was like its own little thing. And as far as like prep for it, the firefighter thing was less what I was focused on, and more, I was more focused on the demons that he was dealing with.
Mhm.
And not that I wasn't focused on the firefighter, that I don't want to minimize that, but I think the core of what the story was is the demons. And part of that is the firefighter, because it's more like the hero syndrome. It's like, to the world you're a hero, and inside you're, fighting your demons. And that's really the story being told there, that he's
Yeah.
now, that Peter's playing in real time.
Well, we're used to seeing you as like, the good guy, you're, like DJ's boyfriend on Full House, and like now you're like yelling at your kid and throwing away his book that he made you. So how did
I
you like get into that headspace?
Listen, it's always, I mean, this sounds funny, but it's so fun when you get to kind of like either play a bad guy or play a villain or just do something totally different. That's the joy of an actor. And it started, I remember what was fun is like, in going back to hair and makeup, usually when you sit down in hair and makeup, they're trying to present like the best version of yourself. It's like, how
Yeah.
pretty can we make this person? It's like they
Mhm.
get the makeup going and the hair perfect and everything's like perfect for camera. What was fun about this role is like, once he really was on his bender, it was like, how kind of ugly and tortured and depressed, and that was really fun to lean into. So it wasn't that I had to somehow, so I got to sort of let my whole emotional state go, because usually you show up to set and there's a natural, especially just some, generally the parts that I play, I have to sort of naturally be up, and
Mhm.
everything kind of Mr. Nice Guy, and everything shiny and alpha and hero and leading man. And this was fun to kind of come and lean into let all that go, and lean into the heavy side of life. And everyone was just so supportive. Cast and crew was great. Ellen, who played my, wife, she was
Mhm.
phenomenal. The kid was great.
Yeah.
Um, our director, John Gray, I mean, really, it was such a great experience. I just, from top to bottom.
How do you think Tim sees himself? Like, does he like, I don't think he knows he has a problem. Does he think he's like this superhero firefighter or
No, I think truly, to really get the core of how dark, I don't want to go like too dark on this, but I have like, this experience really hits home for me. So it was easy for me to tap into. And I think the truth is, his drinking was a long drawn out suicide. So I don't think he sees himself as a hero. I think it's a real true. I think when at least my experience, and I think other people that have dealt with addicts, is often they know what the end game is going to be.
Mhm.
Fortunately, and did he know he was going to die on that night? No, but did he know he was spiraling to a deep, dark place? Absolutely. And I think that's a very realistic thing. And I've seen it happen very close to me. And so, to someone who other people would call a hero. And I think, so in that regard, I don't think he saw himself as a hero. I think to him it was probably the easiest job in the world, like to go fight fires. And he's an outside the box kind of guy. I mean, that's, it's easy to go put your life on the line. Probably for him it would have been much harder to put him in a box and be in a
Mhm.
building, suit and tie, and do a numbers game. So being a hero was a side effect of just where he felt natural as a human, but it was the demons that, are hard to hide.
Yeah, that's true. Have you looked at any of the fan reactions online or anything like that?
Not really online. I don't really, I try not to do that, good or bad, but naturally on my own social media, you
Mhm.
get a lot of feedback, and it's all been really, people have really had
Yeah,
really nice things to say. I mean, the show was generous enough to bring me back for the next episode, which was really cool because that wasn't planned originally. So in fact, originally I didn't get to work with Peter specifically because he wasn't there when I was working. So
yeah.
it was a bonus to come back the next week and do that. And it really just, it was such a great experience from beginning to end.
What do you hope that the fans will take away for like any lessons they learned from Tim's scenes or anything?
Compassion for the hero, maybe. Sometimes I think the BMOC or the cool guy or cool gal or the person that looks like it has it all together
Yeah,
often has darker demons than even, um the people that you think are going through hard times. I mean, it brings me to this one like commercial that I saw recently that was like a PSA, and I think it was a European one. I don't know, maybe you've seen it on social media. And it showed two friends that were always going to games together, and one was always screaming and happy and super excited, and the other one was always sitting there, but they'd always go to the games together. And the one was really quiet. And then one day, and it showed them through the years going to these games, and then one day the seat was empty with the guy, and they said one of them obviously had
yeah,
and had taken his own life, but it was the quiet guy that came back in, and it made you realize it was like, it was the happy guy that looked like he was having fun all the time that was really the one fighting the fight. And the
right.
lesson there is the same. I think that's the lesson on the show, is that you don't know what demon, it doesn't matter what facade someone puts on, it doesn't matter what metal they have on their neck, or they could still have demons that they're fighting inside that nobody can save them from.
It's true. How did you like, shake him off when you got home? What did you do to like get rid of Tim?
That's actually it. It was, I remember, that's funny you say that because I remember it specifically. Like there was about an hour drive, on my way home from the last night. And I remember just like literally driving down the freeway, cranking music, opening the windows. You don't always open windows on the freeway, but you do in
Mhm.
moments of like exercising the demons. It was like I rolled the
Right.
windows down, I cranked the music, and I flew down the highway. And I'm really lucky to have, an awesome family waiting at home that always, puts me right back in my place.
That's
So
awesome.
that's about it.
Um, can you say if you will see him again in flashbacks or
Let's just say I certainly hope so.
okay?
And so, yeah.
If he had survived, what do you think he would be now with would he be sober?
That's a great question. I've never really thought of that. Gosh, because you'd sure hope so, because I think if he was alive today, the
Mhm.
only way he could get here is if he was sober.
Right.
So if it would have had to happen at some point, sobriety would have had to kick in at some point. Great question, because yeah, he would have had to been. He would have had to find a
Mhm.
way.
Okay, so you've done the film, the TV, the soaps. What's your favorite? Or you just like, I'm just happy to be working.
Oh man, frankly, I love it all. I do. I love, playing a Navy SEAL in Furious 7 or any of that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But if I had to pick, honestly, live audience sitcom is so much fun because you just have instant interaction. It goes back to live theater when I grew up. It was like when you have that instant interaction with the audience, it's so just precious,
Yeah,
and it's just like I love it all, and I never try to take any of it for granted. But there was something really special. Anytime you're in front of a live audience, it's like giving a real gift in real time. It's like that reaction when you give someone a gift and you're so excited because they're just like, there was something so special about that.
that's nice. And anything coming up that you want to talk about or give us a hint on your next projects?
Well, I'm blessed that Hallmark keeps me really busy.
Hmm.
So I'm gearing up to go do one of their movies right now, which is always awesome. I love them so much. And then there's a lot growing there as well. Hallmark is going through. So I've got, right now there's that going on. I recently did a movie with Heather Graham called Chosen Family, this
Okay.
independent film with Julia Stiles. That's on like the festival circuit right now. and you will see where that ends up. But Heather Graham directed it, and I play, opposite her love interest. Great cast: Tom Lennon, Julia Stiles, really incredible time. Andrea Savage. So yeah, just trying to, stay busy, and really what keeps me busy is my kiddos. So my girls are busy teenagers, so playing a lot of basketball right now.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. This was so
My
much fun.
pleasure.
All right,
My
have a good day.
pleasure. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the Stoke shout out.
No problem. Bye.
Jared Banks.
Yes. Jared Banks for life.
That's right. That's right.
Gone too soon.
Amen.
All
Amen.
right, bye.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Take care.